Have you ever thought about what you would do in the event of a nuclear blast? This might sound like a dreadful thought, but the reality is that preparedness can make a world of difference in a catastrophic situation. Let's start with the basics. Your emergency kit should be stocked with essentials like water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit, protective equipment, extra clothes, and a fire extinguisher. If you can get your hands on them, an axe or shovel and potassium iodide tablets also be incredibly useful. But it's not just about it's about what you do. Developing a plan is vital. In a crisis situation, you may be separated from your loved ones. Having a strategy in place to reconnect or to contact emergency services could be a lifeline. Next, let's talk about shelter. Your best bet is a basement or an insulated room in your home that's away from windows outside walls. If you can, choose a space with concrete, dirt, or heavy furniture to provide additional shielding from radiation. Finally, knowledge and skills. Water is life, and knowing how to collect and purify it is a must. Survival guides like Barefoot Jen offer practical strategies on how to survive in the aftermath of a nuclear blast. So get reading. Remember, the key to survival is preparation. It's about having the right supplies, the right plan, the right shelter, and the right knowledge. It's about being ready for the worst, so you can hope for the best. That's not just true for a nuclear catastrophe, but for any emergency situation. So ask yourself again, are you ready to face a nuclear catastrophe? If the answer is no, then it's time to because when it comes to survival, preparation isn't just the key, it's the lock, the door, and the whole damn house. When the worst happens, where will you be? The answer to that question could mean the difference between life and death in the event of a nuclear blast. Your immediate priority should be to seek shelter, and fast. If you're outdoors when the blast occurs, your best bet is to get inside the nearest concrete or brick building as quickly as possible. If there's no structure nearby, find a ditch or any depression in the ground and lie down in it. Remember, it's crucial to avoid looking directly at the blast. Now let's talk about the duck and cover technique. This is a basic safety strategy designed to protect you from the pressure wave produced by the blast. What you'll want to do is lay face down on the ground, covering your head with your hands. It might feel a bit strange, but it's crucial to open your mouth while doing this. That's because the pressure wave can cause serious damage to your ears and lungs if they're closed off. But what if you're already at home when the blast happens? Well, you've hopefully already identified a basement or an insulated room in your home that's away from windows and outside walls. That's where you'll want to head. Once inside, you'll need to seal any gaps with duct tape and plastic sheeting. This helps to keep out any radioactive particles that might be in the air after the blast. Remember, the key to surviving a nuclear blast is to get inside, stay inside. The initial blast is devastating, but the fallout that follows can be just as, if not more, deadly. Your shelter, no matter how makeshift it may be, is your best defense against this fallout. The first rule of survival during a nuclear blast is simple. Get inside, stay inside. The actions you take in those first few moments can drastically increase your chances of survival. It's not a situation anyone wants to find themselves in, but being prepared and knowing what to do just might save your life. After the blast, the danger isn't over. When the initial shock and awe of a nuclear explosion have passed, you might think the worst is behind you. But the reality is the fallout is just beginning. The radioactive particles that fill the air after a nuclear blast can be just as lethal as the explosion itself. That's why it's crucial to stay put in your shelter for at least 72 hours after the blast. This is when radiation levels are at their highest and most dangerous. Venturing outside during this time could expose you to lethal levels of radiation. But after approximately 3 days, the radiation levels decrease significantly, making it safer for you to leave your shelter if necessary. While you're hunkered down in your shelter, it's important to keep your wits about you. Stay calm and remember your survival training. You've prepared for this, and you're equipped to handle it. Remember the hand crank or battery-operated radio you packed in your emergency kit? Now's the time to use it. Tune in to emergency broadcasts for updates and instructions. These broadcasts will provide critical information about the situation outside, including radiation levels, safe zones, and possible evacuation plans. But remember, patience is key. It might be tempting to leave your shelter, especially if you're worried about loved ones or eager to assess the damage. But leaving too soon could be a fatal mistake. Staying put for those crucial 72 hours could be the difference between life and death. So, hunker down. Keep yourself busy with tasks that can be done within your shelter, like checking your supplies, maintaining your shelter, or even just resting and conserving your energy. Just as you have prepared for the initial blast, it's important to be prepared for the aftermath as well. Remember, in the face of a nuclear disaster, every decision you make counts. Your survival depends on it. Patience is a virtue, especially when it can save your life. Radiation is invisible, but its effects can be deadly. In the aftermath of a nuclear blast, one of the most daunting challenges is decontamination. Your life may depend on your ability to get clean, so let's dive right in. First things first, if you suspect that you've been exposed to fallout, change your clothes immediately. The clothes you were wearing when exposed could be contaminated with radioactive particles. Remove these clothes as soon as you can and seal them in a plastic bag. Be careful not to shake them, as this could spread radioactive dust into the air. Then, store the bag as far away from humans and animals as possible. Now, here comes the tricky part. If you have access to water, take an emergency shower. But remember, this isn't your usual morning routine. The aim here is to remove any remaining radioactive material from your skin. You'll want to use warm water, not hot. Hot water could open your pores, allowing the radioactive particles to seep into your skin. And avoid scrubbing or scratching your skin, as this could also lead to contamination. Now, about soap. Use as much as you can and make sure it's not abrasive. You don't want to damage your skin while trying to get clean. Lather up, rinse, and repeat. Pay special attention to your hair. It can trap radioactive particles, so be sure to thoroughly shampoo and rinse it. After you've showered, dry yourself with a clean towel. If you can, get rid of the towel you used. Like your clothes, it could be contaminated. And finally, put on a fresh set of clothes. Remember, cleanliness is not just about comfort. It can be the difference between life and death in a nuclear fallout situation. Remember, the aim of decontamination is to remove as much radioactive material as possible. It's a challenging task, but it's crucial for your survival. And even if you can't get completely clean, any amount of decontamination can significantly reduce your exposure to radiation. Cleanliness isn't just next to godliness, it's next to survival. In a post-blast world, what will you need? One word: essentials. And in a survival scenario, the essentials boil down to two things: water and food. Let's start with water. Safe drinking water becomes your lifeblood in a post-blast situation. It's not only for hydration, but also for cooking, cleaning wounds, and maintaining basic hygiene. It's recommended to have a minimum of 1 gallon of water per person per day stored. But don't just rely on stored water. Familiarize yourself with techniques to collect and purify water. Rainwater collection, distillation, and purification tablets can be lifesavers when your stored supplies run low. Next up, food. Your body will be burning through calories like a steam train. So high-energy, non-perishable food items are your best friends. Think canned meats, granola, dried fruits, and nuts. Remember, these items should have been stored in airtight containers prior to the blast to ensure they're free from radiation. But it's not just about what you consume. It's also about the environment you're living in. Post-blast, you have to prepare for a drastic drop in temperatures. With dust obscuring sunlight, a nuclear winter could set in, making it feel like the middle of January, even if it's the height of summer. So, make sure you have warm clothing, blankets, and a means to produce heat. This could be something as simple as a camping stove or as complex as a wood-burning stove, depending on your resources and skills. In the end, your supplies are your lifeline. They can keep you fed, hydrated, warm, and most importantly, alive. But remember, supplies can run out. That's why it's crucial to equip yourself with the knowledge and skills to adapt to your circumstances and make the most of what you have. So store wisely, plan ahead, and always be ready to improvise. Your supplies can mean the difference between life and death. Fire is a friend and an enemy. In the aftermath of a nuclear blast, fires can break out unexpectedly. It's crucial to be prepared, even after the initial shock has passed. A fire extinguisher is your first line of defense. Keep it handy and know how to use it. But what if you don't have one? Sand can smother small flames. If a fire gets out of hand, an axe can help you create a fire break, cutting off the fire's fuel source. Remember, safety first. If a fire becomes too large or dangerous, your best bet is to retreat to a safe distance. But prevention is better than cure. Keep flammable materials stored safely and avoid unnecessary open flames. Regularly check for signs of fire and act swiftly at the first sign of smoke. Remember, fire can be a tool or a terror. The choice is yours. In the aftermath, your health is your wealth. It's crucial to keep an eye on your well-being following a nuclear blast. One of the key things to watch out for is radiation sickness. This can often manifest in symptoms such as nausea, fatigue, and a general feeling of unwellness. You'll want to be attentive to these signs, as early detection can make a significant difference in your ability to manage the condition. However, it's important to remember that these symptoms can also be indicative of stress or other factors, so don't jump to conclusions. Now, you may remember from our preparation section that we recommended having potassium iodide tablets in your emergency kit. This can be a useful tool in reducing the effects of radiation exposure, but remember, it's not a magic bullet. It should only be used after considering the risk of dehydration from vomiting or diarrhea. Monitor your health. It's the only one you've got. In a crisis, knowledge is power. It's not just about what you've got, but what you know. The tools in your kit are important, sure, but your brain is the best tool you have. When the usual resources are stripped away, your ability to think on your feet, to improvise, becomes critical. Consider water, our most basic need. Knowing how to collect rainwater or how to distill unsafe water with simple tools could be a lifesaver. And food? It's not just about what you've stored. Do you know which local plants are edible, which insects are safe to eat? Can you set a trap for small game? Your knowledge can help you find and create resources when all else seems lost. It's your ability to adapt, to find solutions that will see you through the toughest of times. Knowledge can be your greatest ally in a nuclear aftermath. After survival comes recovery. The dust has settled, and the initial shock has passed. Now it's time for the community to rise from the ashes, to rebuild and recover. Aiding in the recovery efforts is not just a noble act, but also a vital one. Lending a hand not only strengthens your community, but also fosters a sense of unity, resilience, and hope. Documenting your status throughout this ordeal is crucial. Keep a detailed record of your health, your actions, and any injuries or exposure. This could form the basis for potential future claims and provide vital information for medical professionals. Remember, recovery is not a solo journey. It's a collective effort, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. The road to recovery may be long and arduous, but with unity and perseverance, we can and will rebuild. In the aftermath, we recover together. Surviving a nuclear blast is as much a mental challenge as a physical one. In the aftermath of such an event, it's crucial not to underestimate the power of psychological resilience. This is the strength that will see you through the darkest days and help you adapt to the new normal. Post-traumatic stress is a common response to a nuclear blast, and it's important to recognize and address these feelings rather than suppress them. Seek comfort in the company of others. Sharing your experiences and fears can provide a sense of relief and unity. Remember, you're not alone. Furthermore, maintain a positive outlook. It's easier said than done, but staying hopeful and optimistic can significantly impact your ability to cope and recover. A positive mindset can boost your immune system, reduce stress, and even increase your lifespan. And finally, always remember to take care of your mental health. Practice mindfulness, meditation, or other calming techniques to help manage stress. Your mind is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely.